Hello everybody and welcome to part 9 of What If Midoriya Was the Shield Hero, this series that takes the world of Shield Hero and replaces Naofumi with Midoriya because why not? Still cool idea, cool series. The execution towards the beginning was kind of bad, so it affected how it is now. This episode focuses on the second wave, or the third wave overall, the second one that the heroes experience. It's the one with the Soul Eater and Glass. I do hope you guys enjoy this episode. Please leave a like and subscribe if you do and if you aren't already, because that helps me out tremendously. And yeah, enjoy the video. Midoriya, Denki, and Raftalia, along with the knights who are joining them, are suddenly enveloped in a flash of light, appearing in the plains next to a town once the light disappears. "Haven't we been here before?" asks Denki, looking at the surroundings while tilting his head. "We have been to plenty of places over the last month and a half," answers Raftalia. Midoriya looks around, spotting the other three heroes and their parties as they run towards a specific area. The sky has turned red, with giant spirals appearing above them, with monsters falling from them. "Regardless of if we've been here or not, we should get moving," orders Midoriya, grabbing his shield for a moment and changing its form into the Chimera Viper shield. The group runs to the village as fast as they can. "Once we get there, our main priority is setting up an evacuation. Ake, Blake, and Camilla, you'll gather the initial group and along with the town's guards are going to look for a safe zone. Protect the villagers from there. The rest of us are going to go around the village. Our priority is to search, guide, and protect. Get the villagers to safety while keeping casualties to a minimum. If we can avoid collateral damage, that's a best case scenario. But if it isn't possible, then it's fine," orders Midoriya. "After all, saving others is more important than some buildings that we can just fix later," thinks Midoriya as he remembers the events of Camino. They arrive at the village with Ake, Blake, and Camilla splitting off. The juvenile group of knights heads to the back entrance of the town where a bunch of people are held up, with adventurers and the town's knights holding the line to keep the bystanders safe. Ake runs at the monster, cutting through one, while Blake takes another. "Castle Knights? Here so soon?" asks one of the village knights. "We're here with one of the heroes," informs Ake. "Which one?" asks a villager. "That's not important right now. What is keeping all of you safe? Are there any structures further away from the village that we can fortify?" Blake adds, while cutting down another one of the monsters. "There's an empty cavern not too far from here," comments an adventurer native to the village. "Great, then half of our fighting force should stay here to keep the way blocked and guide the others, while the other half goes to keep the villagers safe while they head there," Ake suggests. Some are reluctant to the idea, but end up agreeing after a monster shows up, almost slashing a kid's head off. Luckily, Midoriya zoomed at it and slayed the beast in time. "You should do as he says," Midoriya suggests as Raftalia approaches, guiding two adults along with their baby. "I think I'll stay here and help out," says an old lady stepping out from the crowd. "No, you should head with the others and stay safe," Raftalia suggests. "Nonsense," she responds, at the same time grabbing a stick off the ground and striking an approaching monster, taking it down. Who are you?" asks Raftalia, flabbergasted by the show of force. The lady did defeat the monster with nothing but a wooden stick. "The name's Elrastra Grillarock. No need to worry about me, Saint Deku. Or shall I call you Shield Hero? Regardless, I'll be fine helping you out. I am indebted to you after all," she comments while bowing. "Wait, do you know who she is, Midoriya?" asks Raftalia, confused. Midoriya thinks back for a moment. "Wait, you're the lady I gave that potion to?" "Yep, and thanks to you, I'm back to fighting strength. Much quicker than usual," the old lady says. "We're losing time here standing around and talking," Blake says. Right, says Midoriya, extending his shield to block an incoming attack. Let's execute the plan. After all, just standing around is how I lost so many points in the licensing exam. Probably need to get better at that before I get back home, Midoriya thinks to himself, pushing the shield forward to unbalance his opponent, then activating One for All and hitting it over the head. The rest of us should spread out and look for more people, Midoriya suggests. Right, says Raphtalia. They then proceed to evacuate the village, a task which they managed to accomplish in 2 hours and 39 minutes. Okay, that's everyone, says one of the village knights, knowing exactly how many people lived there and who was taken to safety. Great, says Midoriya, having already thought of the next course of action. Now we're dividing our forces even more. You five, head to the cavern and make sure everyone's alright. Take this. He throws them a flare. If things come to their worst, then shoot it at the sky. If you do, we'll all go running. The rest of us are going to keep the monsters out of the village to reduce the damages as much as possible. Okay, says everyone in unison, the 5 guards Midoriya pointing to running back to the nearby cavern. Midoriya and company spend the next half hour protecting the entrance of the village, making sure no monster enters. What's taking them so long? This has already taken twice as long as last time, Midoriya thinks out loud. It's already been over 3 hours. Sir Hero, you really should go, Ache suggests. The quicker the wave is ended, the easier it'll be on all of us, including the villagers. Are you sure you have the situation handled? Asks Midoriya. Just leave it to us, says Ache, with a determined look on his face. Yeah, me and these young whippersnappers have this handled, adds the old lady with a smile on her face. I suppose we should go then, says Raphtalia. Yeah, let's do it. Denki? Midoriya shouts, calling to the Philolio. Denki takes care of another one of the monsters and then rushes to the group. What is it, Midoriya? He asks. Let's go. We're going to join the other heroes, Midoriya answers. Okay, responds Denki, letting both Raphtalia and Midoriya mount onto him. They then set off, running through a forest, heading to the epicenter of the wave. On the way, Raphtalia sees a flying ship, calling attention to it. They head to the base of the mountain, where Itsuki and his party are trying to take down the figurehead of the ship. What's going on? Where are the others? Asks Midoriya, stepping off of Denki, trying to evaluate the situation and the best course of action. Oh hey Midoriya, says Itsuki, stopping for a second before starting the attack on the figurehead again. I'm trying to take down the figurehead to spawn the Soul Leader. The boss of the wave. What about the others? What are they doing? Asks Midoriya. They're on the ship. I told them that spawning the Soul Leader came first, but they wouldn't listen to me, Itsuki complains while shooting another arrow. You don't seem to be doing too much damage to the structure, comments Midoriya, looking at it objectively. Destroying the figurehead might be easiest from on top the ship, not to mention there might be a way of spawning it that we aren't considering. Itsuki stops shooting for a moment, seeing how Midoriya is starting to doubt him. He can't believe that Midoriya, his friend and a fellow ally of justice, isn't taking his word on the situation. It's easier to take down from down here. If you find another way to spawn the Soul Leader, then I'll join you on the ship to fight it. Itsuki coldly responds, grabbing another arrow and shooting at the ship. Midoriya changes his shield to the rope shield, activates One for All and leaps at the ship, using the rope shield halfway through to bridge the gap. Itsuki looks at him impressed for a moment before going back onto his task. Denki jumps onto the ship himself. A fat bird? Asks Multi, surprised seeing the Philolio enter the ship. Raphtalia steps off Denki's back. Oh, so he's with the shield. Sir Motoyasu! Look, another monster from the wave is here to attack us, she says, walking back as if to hide from the monster. Motoyasu is about to attack it, but is stopped as he sees Raphtalia there. It's not a part of the wave, he comments objectively, turning his attention back to the Kraken as it attacks him again. Midoriya zooms past them, jumping onto the mast of the ship. From there, he looks at both Ren and Motoyasu while they discuss with one another over what they should be doing. The two turn on each other as if they were about to fight. Midoriya jumps down from the mast, trying to stop them from fighting. "Hey, we're all heroes here. We should be working together," he says while creating some space between the two. "You," Motoyasu says, anger apparent in his voice. His spirit changes as if on instinct into an ominous one, and Motoyasu charges at Midoriya. Midoriya blocks the attack, cancelling his shield's counterattack mechanics so as to not hurt his unfriendly companion. "What are you doing?" asks Midoriya while holding the block. "I'm ridding the world of scum like you," Motoyasu answers, glaring at who he perceives to be his opponent. "Both of you, cut it out!" shouts Ren, causing both Motoyasu and Midoriya to stop. Midoriya is right. We should be working together and focusing our attention on the wave in front of us. "I'm not going to obey this slaver," commands Motoyasu, remembering the rumors that he heard about how Midoriya added a little boy to his group. "You don't have to like him, but he is a hero, so you should work with him. Once this is all over, you can settle your differences if you want, but right now we have to consider our priorities," Ren comments. Motoyasu begrudgingly agrees with Ren, deciding to leave the situation to be resolved later. "How do we summon the Soul Eater?" asks Midoriya. "We have to kill the skeleton captain," explains Ren. "No, it's the Kraken! We have to kill the Kraken!" protests Motoyasu, having a different idea of how to summon the enemy. "No, it's the skeleton," restates Ren, adamant that his method is the correct one. "You killed it earlier, but nothing spawned. It's the Kraken. We have to kill it," Motoyasu responds. At that moment, both the skeleton captain and the Kraken try to attack, but are stopped by Raphtalia and Denki respectively. "We have to kill it more than once to make it work," answers Ren to Motoyasu's taunt, not backing down. "All of you seem adamant that your method is the correct one. It could be a discrepancy since you all played games that are like this world. Maybe there are differences," Midoriya comments while thinking. "Unlike me, I was busy doing something. Although it seems that me not having played a game puts me at a disadvantage, it does give me an objective set of eyes. In this situation, at least." "Maybe," answers Ren, starting to think the situation over. "Or maybe all your knowledge is just one piece of a larger puzzle," Midoriya responds, looking at both the Kraken and the skeleton captain, noticing something strange about the shadows. "Raphtalia?" Midoriya calls for her, having a strategy in mind. "Yes, Midoriya?" she asks, parrying the skeleton's attack before slicing at him, killing him again. She then jumps back, having a moment to herself. "Shield Prison!" Midoriya casts around the reforming captain, wanting to get a moment to talk. "In a moment when the shield prison disappears, I want you to cast light magic," he says, turning to the other heroes. "Then you all have to stab the shadows." "The shadows?" asks Mine. "What good will that do? You can't hurt a monster by attacking its shadow." "It's worth a try," comments Ren, angering Mine with a comment. Moments later, the shield prison disappears. "As source of thy power, I order thee. Decipher the laws of nature and illuminate my surroundings." "First light!" Raphtalia casts. A ball of blinding light then appears above her. Faces appear in the shadows, and as Midoriya suggested, Raphtalia and Ren jump at the different shadows, stabbing them. Motoyasu follows suit, but only after confirming it worked. "So you managed to find a way after all?" asks Itsuki as he, along with his party, jump onto the ship. Soul Eaters are now spawning everywhere. They're all over the ship. The different fragments bulge together, forming the boss of the wave. "Thunderbolt Slash! Thunder Arrow! Lightning Spear!" shout the three heroes, unleashing strong skills at the monster. The Soul Eater just seems to tank the attack. "It's stronger than I thought," comments Ren. "Are our attacks even affecting it?" asks Motoyasu. "If the lightning element attacks don't work, then try something else," comments Midoriya. Motoyasu grits his teeth and with frustration and a bit of anger says, Right. Midoriya turns to Denki and says, lightning doesn't seem to do much, so try sticking to wind magic. Sound good? Denki nods and charges at the Soul Eater, unleashing Svite Tornado. What type of enemy is this even? Asks Midoriya, turning to the other heroes to do so. I need all the information I can get on this monster if we are going to defeat it, he thinks after asking. It's sort of like a ghost. Physical attacks don't do much against it, so we have to rely on magic attacks and our skills, explains Itsuki. Great, so I'm useless as an attacker, thinks Midoriya before saying, we should set up a formation. Itsuki, you head to the back along with the other mages. Use the range moves you've got to attack. Try sticking to what will affect it. Who are you to boss us around? Asks Motoyasu, the anger very apparent in his voice. That is true. You are speaking as if you were the leader, but we're all equals here, adds Itsuki. Sorry, it's just the type of situation, says Midoriya, giving a confused smile at the group. This is not the time for this conversation. We can have the discussion after the wave is over. For now, the strategy is sound. Better than all of us just working on our own. At least this way we don't get in each other's way. Let's follow that plan, says Ren, on guard since the Soul Eater started charging an attack. We got to take it out before it unleashes that thing. Both Ren and Motoyasu were about to charge at the boss, but Midoriya raises his arm, stopping him in his tracks. I'm the shield hero, remember? Says Midoriya, turning to his filial. Denki, fall back! Right, he says, zooming to the back of the formation. Everyone get behind me, quickly, Midoriya orders as a notification to merge parties appears on the hero statuses. Shooting Star Shield! Midoriya commands. Airstrike Shield! A barrier appears around Midoriya with a green floating shield appearing meters away in the air. The other heroes observe this and realize what he's planning. They accept the invitation and they all move to hide behind Midoriya. The Soul Eater unleashes its attack. It hits the airstrike shield, causing an explosion that breaks the shield, but the resulting explosion is stopped by the barrier of the shooting star shield before it can reach the big party of heroes. Since it's incorporeal, Raftalia, use the mana sword we bought, Midoriya orders. Denki, you stay in the back, use both wind and lightning magic. Got it, says the Filial, going to his human form and going to the back of the formation with a smile on his face, yet determination there as well. The rest of you can pick your positions. If you have magic range attacks that can affect him, go to the back. If your magic acts in close range, then go to the front. Those who don't have magic attacks, stay in the center and protect the mages, suggests Midoriya. Some of the warriors start obeying the orders, others ignore them, trying to attack the monster willy-nilly and suffering the consequences, encouraging more to follow Midoriya. Sir Motoyasu, you can't seriously expect us to follow the shield, Mine says in disbelief. Believe me, I don't like it either, Motoyasu says, anger and frustration apparent in his tone. He's gritting his teeth and clenching with anger onto his spear. But the idea is sound. Can I see that sword for a moment, Raftalia? Asks Ren as they are getting into position, with some of the ranged attackers already firing their attacks. You want to admire my sword in a situation like this? She asks. Just give it to me for a second, please, Ren reiterates with a serious tone. Raftalia follows the directions of the sword hero, handing him the mana sword. He looks at it for a moment. Once the notification pops up into his screen, he hands it back to her. It's pretty low level, but the only one of this type I got, so I'll use it, Ren comments. The different combatants start attacking the beast, both from close and long range. This strategy also confuses the monster. It tries to lash back, but every time it attacks someone, Midoriya is there to block the hits, either with a skill or physically. He's using One for All to maneuver around the ship. Since he can't attack, he's just sticking to the fence. After about 14 minutes of fighting together, they finally manage to defeat the Soul Eater. Yay! We did it! Shouts Denki, striking a victory pose by raising his fist into the air. Not bad, comments Itsuki. It took us a bit, but we managed to get the job done in the end, comments Ren, thinking, I need to get better equipment and upgrade it before the next wave. Can't keep relying on the others to save the day. A strange feeling, sort of like a chill, passes through all the heroes. "Did you feel that?" asks Ren. Another Soul Eater pops his head from under the ship. "Another one?" asks Itsuki, surprised. "I definitely didn't see this in the game before," adds Ren. "It took us about 50 minutes to take one down. Are more going to keep appearing?" wonders Midoriya. "Alright, let's get ready to..." Midoriya manages to say before small fan blades made out of light fall from the sky, stabbing and killing the Soul Eater. The heroes, along with their parties, look in disbelief as the same monster that took the combined effort of all of them and 50 minutes of time to take down was just defeated by one attack. "How very disappointing," comments a woman dressed in a jet black kimono and wielding two fans as she comes crashing into the ship, landing where the defeated Soul Eater was moments before. "You really had trouble fighting weaklings like these?" she asks. "Are you really the heroes holding the world's fate in your hands?" "There's only one here worthy of being called a Cardinal Hero," she says, pointing her fan at Midoriya. "You're a leader. What is your name?" "I'm Midoriya." Midoriya introduces himself while being wary of his enemy in front of him, trying to come up with a new strategy to defeat her. "Midoriya, huh? Well, I'm Glass. That's all you need to know for now. You may feel free to consider me your enemy. Now that the introductions are out of the way, may I suggest that we begin the only battle of this wave worthy of the name?" she asks the hero in front of her while opening her fans and getting ready to fight. Midoriya stares at the opponent for a moment, trying to strategize, trying to come up with something to defeat her. "Why aren't you attacking, Hero Midoriya? Why not try sending some of the vassal heroes or one of your servants after me first?" she wonders out loud, trying to get them to attack her. "What are vassal heroes?" Midoriya thinks for a moment before snapping back into the fight. "Are you calling us lesser than him?" asks Motoyasu, a bit envious of Midoriya in this situation. "Why, yes. Haven't you heard of the vassal weapons? They're under the cardinal weapons in rank," Glass explains. "Call me lesser than scum again!" shouts Motoyasu. His spear, as if on instinct, changes into a more ominous looking one. This one is mostly black with some red and white elements, having a couple carvings of what looks like snakes. He charges at Glass using an untested skill. "Mach Kopie!" he shouts. Energy starts flowing through his body as a small red energy curdles appear on his arm. With all his might, Motoyasu thrusts his spear at Glass. She opens her fan and just blocks the attack. The moment the spear makes impact, a huge gust of wind surges in the nearby area. Motoyasu, all of his XP points having been drained from the attack, steps back. "Ah!" he shouts out in pain, his arm now broken. Midoriya stares at the attack in disbelief, his eyes widening. Was that one for all?" he whispers to himself, Raphtalia behind him overhearing him. "What was that, Motoyasu?" asks Ren. "How did you get that cheap power?" Motoyasu takes out a healing potion and soul healing water from his spear, drinking them to both fix his arm and heal his lost SP, but part of his armor was destroyed in the process of the attack. "It appeared after my duel with Midoriya. I haven't been able to use it until now," Motoyasu explains. My, what a neat trick that was. But I have some of my own," says Glass, as the adventurers have now surrounded her. Itsuki and Ren take the front lines, ordering their party members to attack. "Meteor slash! Meteor shot!" they both call out as Midoriya evaluates the situation. Motoyasu heals up. Glass just blocks the attacks, with Motoyasu jumping at her after with his own version of the meteor attack. She blocks it again and throws him back. "Is that all you've got?" she asks. "Even for vassal weapons, that is disappointing. You aren't worthy of my time." Zero stance, reverse 4 seasons, she calls out, unleashing a skill at all her surrounding adversaries. Shooting Star Shield, Midoriya calls out, blocking the attack. This time, only managing to protect Denki and Raphtalia. Most of the adventurers were taken down by the attack. Only Ren, Itsuki, and Motoyasu retained consciousness a bit longer thanks to their augmented stats, but even they fall down having been defeated by the attack. Motoyasu managed to copy One for All somehow. He was even firing it at 100%. How did he do that? Midoriya thinks to himself, shaking his head. That doesn't matter right now. What does matter is she just blocked it with like it was nothing. Even Muscular flinched slightly. Although Motoyasu doesn't know how to use it properly. Still, I'm in trouble here. If I don't manage to defeat her, then One for All ends with me. In another world where I can't let that happen. I have to use all the skills and all the tools at my disposal in order to stop her. I hope you'll at least entertain me a little. Glass comments, shifting her gaze from the defeated heroes to Midoriya. I'll do my best, says Midoriya, charging up One for All throughout his body to 30%. Wonderful, Glass responds. Shield Prison, shouts Midoriya, a ball of shields held together by chains appearing around Glass. Midoriya and Raphtalia both charge at Glass. She just breaks the skill, but the moment she does, both Midoriya and Raphtalia are there. Midoriya tries to kick her while Raphtalia swings her sword. Glass blocks both attacks, each with the guard of one of her fans. Denki then rushes down the middle, hitting her in the stomach. She's pushed back a little, but the attack doesn't do much. Hi, quick! Shouts Denki, hitting Glass repeatedly while Raphtalia and Midoriya step back. Glass, however, managed to block all the attacks. At the moment the last kick hit, was blocked, Denki focused his mana and unleashed a spell. Zwei Thunder Shot! But Glass again blocked the attack. We're going to have to rethink our strategy, comments Midoriya. He looks at the opponent in front of them, getting a similar vibe that he got from the Soul Eater. Raphtalia, use both your swords for this fight. I want to test out my theory, orders Midoriya. If you have anything else you'd like to try, go right ahead. I'll wait my turn, taunts Glass. Midoriya steels himself, trying to manage his emotions. He then lets out Black Whip, the newest expansion to his quirk. The attack goes out from the newly made gauntlets being directed at Glass. This time, they didn't go all out of control and Midoriya actually managed to focus the attack on his enemy. Glass tries to block the attack, but too many tendrils appear and they end up enveloping her. My, this does seem to hurt me a little, but not enough, she says, swinging her fans again to rip through the attack's energy. This moment gives Raphtalia enough of an opening. She rushes at Glass, swinging her sword, which Glass manages to block, breaking the sword with her other fan. Before Raphtalia lands on the ground, she grabs her mana sword and swings it at Glass. Glass again goes to block the attack, but Raphtalia stops the flow of mana before it makes contact, reactivating it after slashing through Glass's chest. Glass lets a pained expression show on her face as she steps back. Congratulations, you found a way to damage me. But I do believe it's my turn to attack now. Glass gets ready to unleash her attack, so Midoriya orders Raphtalia and Denki behind him. Shooting Star Shield! Shield Prison! He summons as Glass unleashes his own skill. Reverse 4 Seasons! The attack hits the barriers over and over, breaking them and even managing to damage the ones being protected by them. Midoriya is the only one left standing after the last attack. I have to say, I am surprised that you're still standing after all that, Glass comments, staring at Midoriya. But so far I'm mostly unimpressed. A bit surprised, but unimpressed. Rupture Stance, Tortoise Shell Cracker. Glass calls out, unleashing a purple blade that flies towards Midoriya. It seems like a powerful attack. My best bet is dodging, but Midoriya thinks, looking behind him, seeing both Denki and Raphtalia getting back up from the previous attack. Midoriya decides to block using the Chimera Viper Shield. The attack sits on the surface of the shield for a moment before penetrating and hitting Midoriya in the arm. A pained expression appears on Midoriya's face, but he fights through it, trying to force a smile on his face. Interesting. Even that is enough to get you down. And you're still smiling after enduring that. You are tougher than I gave you credit for. Your defense lives up to your title of hero, if nothing else, she remarks after the attack. Since Glass seems to have left her guard down, Midoriya pushes past the pain in his arm, having felt worse from his own attacks. He places his thumb on top of his middle finger, charging One for All to 40% before letting go. A gust of wind flows towards Glass. She just tanks the hit. What a nice breeze, she comments. A timer appears on both their fields of vision. One that's counting down from 1 minute. As it does, the ship starts descending onto the ground. The time limit? Exclaims Glass in surprise, still wearing a calm expression on her face. I didn't expect it to hit this quickly. So this is a game of keep away now, thinks Midoriya, whispering to Raphtalia to have some light magic ready. She nods at their request, putting the mana sword back in its sheath as Denki gets back up. The Battle of the Wave will end in our victory. There can be no other outcome. I have nothing against you personally, but it is what it is, Glass says. Midoriya nods, giving the signal to Raphtalia. Fast light! She shouts, unleashing the attack to blind Glass. Fast heal! Fast guard! Shouts Midoriya, augmenting the weakened Denki while getting on him. Denki, you have to get as far away from here as you can, Midoriya orders. Okay, shouts Denki, running off the ship and jumping into the ground as Glass tries to get a good shot in at the hero, but missing her attacks because of the blinding light. She tries to attack the fleeing hero, but having enough distance from the opponent, Midoriya manages to block the attacks without much trouble. She didn't perceive the others to be a threat, so they should be alright, he thinks as he gets ready to block. Glass sends attack after attack, trying to hit Midoriya as he flees from her, but using a combination of his most used skills and the shield itself, Midoriya manages to block all the attacks, but one did hit him in the shoulder. It had so little potency, though, that it didn't do much damage, so he managed to survive with 10% of his health still intact. Glass then retreated, stepping through a dimensional rift, right as the sky returned to normal. Moments later, the ship containing the other 3 heroes and their parties crashed onto the ground. What happened? Why did she let us get away? Asked Raphtalia, looking at the spot where the rift she escaped through was. I don't know, but we should get to work, comments Midoriya, stepping off of Denki, getting ready for the wave's cleanup. And that's the end of the video. I do hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my Discord link in the description below, because it's always fun to have more people on there who like Shield Hero and want to talk about it and run ideas by. Yeah. That said, I want to address the whole Motoyasu's new skill that's part of the Curse series, because I got some backlash on it in fanfiction.net when I posted the script. People are, why did you effing give Motoyasu One for All? I did not. The skill is part of the the Envy series of the Curse series, which he unlocked in like part 4 of the series, because he's jealous of Midoriya's power and other stuff that Midoriya has that he doesn't, like the relationship he has with Raphtalia and whatnot. The fact that he has this skill allows him to copy the base form of One for All in the 9th user, because it's the power he envies. The thing is, he has no way of regulating that power and will never be able to acquire it, and the power cannot expand from within him. Because the power isn't his, it's actually something that the spear is recreating. He cannot use it as to punch, he can only use it in combination with the spear, will always break his arm, he cannot learn to control it like Midoriya did. So that's going to be kind of a problem for him moving forward if he decides to use it, as more consequences may appear. For example, Midoriya breaking his arm over and over got him to almost wreck his whole body forever. something similar could happen, or yeah, many consequences this could have down the line. I thought this was an interesting idea I came up with in the last version of the series, and I always wanted to explore it, but never got to the point where I actually can put this in. So here we are. Also wanted to say why Glass killed the Soul Eater, because I always found that inconsistent. Like, it's a show of force, yeah, and I guess that kind of explains it already. But if the Soul Eater or Soul Devourer, as it's known by her, got to exist for longer in the battlefield, it would have attacked her because it's the natural predator of her species, and that would have had bad consequences. For example, Naofumi did use the Soul Eater shield against her in battle later on, which did weaken her, and it's kind of why. In this version of events, things have happened more out of order and differently a bit, so Raftalia already has the Mana Sword, which she acquired a couple episodes ago, just in case they ever fight incorporeal monsters. So she uses it this time against the Soul Eater, which makes it easier for everyone. I thought Midoriya could get them all together, but the heroes still all have their own egos, so getting them to work together is still going to be a challenge in the future, especially with how Midoriya was talking to them this time. He was like, okay, we have to work together. Let's do this. And everyone like, you can't boss us around. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how the evolution goes. Their relationship may be strained further in the future and as things progress. Next episode, we'll get the whole trip to Siltvelt, or at least the beginning of it, with confrontations and problems arising along the way. I do hope you all enjoyed this episode. Again, if you did, please like, as it shows how much you wanted. Let's get this to the top of the charts as possible, which I don't know why I'm saying this. This is a part 9. Yeah. Let's get this as high up as possible, please. I hope you all liked it. Took me a long time to make, but I absolutely had a fun time making it. And yeah, until next time, everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!